Hey everybody, welcome back to That Stupid Podcast. Rev here. Episode 8, we're calling this one Monopoly. RJ and I get just pissed off at everybody on the internet this week. Everyone from King Software to Comcast and Time Warner. We talk monopolies literally in every sector of every bit of technology. And surprisingly, we talk about Nintendo again. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to That Stupid Podcast, episode 8.
Yeah, what happened to episode 7?
Oh, yeah.
So we may have...
I'm really sorry. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for him because he said
I'm
he'd
not
never
apologizing for
apologized.
Dick.
A couple weeks. So there's two parts. This is a two-part problem.
It is.
Part one, we took a week off because, frankly, everyone literally who's part of this podcast network...
We all were just like, you know what? Fuck it.
Except for me. I go to the bar.
He was like, no, you guys, let's go. Let's get it. And we were like,
no, we're taking the week off.
No, this was Friday night. He walked in and we all just kind of looked at him. We were like, we ain't doing nothing tomorrow.
I was the one who was out of town for 4 days. I had just flown in after being delayed.
Missing the flight.
So let's do the podcast. I'm like, no, we're not going to do it. So that was the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened, the episode that I actually had in the can, YouTube and we were not getting along.
They got in a little bit of a brawl. And it didn't work out very well.
So I'd like to tell you two things. One, obviously I'm sorry. But two, while we're still going to be uploading to YouTube, look out very soon. I'm going to start re-rendering all these episodes. They're going to be up on iTunes. We're going to create an iTunes subscription and an RSS feed. I'm going to host the videos myself. We will keep them on YouTube for those of you who have subscribed on YouTube. But if YouTube's still being a pain in the butt, it might take an extra day or two.
They will be on iTunes first. And here's the great thing about that. iTunes always notifies you. It'll automatically download that stuff for you. And if you're set up to automatically plug in and download, then you've got it on your phone for mobile.
Absolutely.
So if you're, and you want to listen to it in the car or whatever, plug in the aux, push play. You done, son.
So, I don't know when that's going to happen, but over the next few weeks, I hope to get that finished up. I have to re-render some of the old episodes for iTunes first. Once I get that done, get the hosting up.
We can also better track the numbers of how many people are actually out there doing this.
Like, I get emails and comments all the time from people that love the show, and there's more comments and people that tell us that YouTube says that have seen our show.
YouTube's like, 25 people watch this, and I'm like, I know like 20 people have even talked to me alone, just me, about the show. So there's that.
Anyway,
but we are back.
We are back, and of course, it's the first segment of the show, and
one
like
we always do.
If you haven't figured it out by now, we're going to snope something for you. But this week, I'm not going to snope something for you, believe it or not.
I'm going to snope something for you because I did a little work this week.
For once. This week, like right before
15 minutes ago when
exactly.
I got here and he was like, hey, you haven't done your show notes. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I haven't done my show notes. I should probably sit down and do that. And he was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So let me snope something for you. This week, it's been all over Facebook, and it's driving me insane. The reported story is that Blake Griffin of the LA Clippers and of Gamefly fame, with him and his jetpacks, stood up to Justin Bieber, who was being a dick at a Starbucks, and slapped him in the face hard enough to make him fall down and cry on the ground. Now, as much as I really, really wanted to believe this, because I hate Justin Bieber, because I read it on the internet.
Yes.
And I read it on Facebook. That's a twofer right there, so it means it has to be true.
It had to be true.
Unfortunately, it didn't actually happen. Yeah. Basically, what happened was that Justin Bieber was shirtless, and he was demanding service. They told him, no shirt, no shoes, policy, etc. You're not going to get served.
I don't care who the hell you are.
And he flipped out. And Blake Griffin was sitting at a cafe. He was sitting at the Starbucks at a table, and he just got up, silently walked over mysteriously, and laid the hand down on Justin Bieber's little tiny man-boy face. I wanted that to be true. I really did.
It's a really good story.
Because Blake Griffin he's lovable, but he's a huge dude. I mean, he's a basketball player. Like when you see him on TV, you're like, oh, he's not that big. But you look at his stats, dude's huge.
Isn't he the double XL Taco Bell commercial guy?
He might be. I don't know. I'm so bad about commercials.
I know, but because the whole joke of the commercial is it's like it may be double X. It's not a double XL for Blake Griffin, but it's a double XL for you because you're not Blake Griffin.
Because you're not Blake Griffin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him.
That's but yeah, through the reports, basically what went down with this is it was just an article that was put out online. It was a rumor when somebody wanted to up their traffic to their website.
So let's talk. So we're gonna, that's a really good idea. We're gonna
start rumors right now.
Start rumors right now.
I smacked Justin Bieber yesterday.
Yeah, breaking news right now. This just in from our news desk. Miley Cyrus pregnant with Selena Gomez's son.
Boom. Traffic
happened.
Million hits right there.
Boom.
Just did it. But
take that, TMZ.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And I read the story and I was like, man, this is on some weird web pages, and it was linking back to this very weird web page.
Yeah.
I have a slight addiction to celebrity news. It's one of those things, and if it's not on TMZ, as much as I hate to say that, you can guarantee it's probably not true. If I don't see it on one of two sites I go to, which is TMZ.com, yes, you
go to Perez Hilton too, don't you?
No, I don't. I hate that kid.
Okay.
And no, that's not like a gay thing. It's just because I hate him. He's a jerk.
He is kind of a jerk.
It's not about what your sexual preference is. It's the fact that he's just a jerk.
Well, it's like you're straight and you're still an asshole.
I am the biggest of jerks. Maybe that's why I don't like him.
Yeah.
But I also still read whatwouldtylerdurdendo.com.
Oh my God, I forgot about that site.
Absolutely. Well, he sold it. He sold it off to the people at BuzzFeed, and they got into a really big issue with that. So he doesn't write it anymore, unfortunately. Right. But it's still decent news coverage. It's definitely not written
surprising
in a
coming
sarcastic.
From BuzzFeed.
I know it's not written in the same sarcastic tone, but
yeah,
and BuzzFeed doesn't report anything that's not already been reported on Reddit like 5 days ago. Unless it's a list of 20 things that you're a cat lady
and
for.
know you're behind when you report things after BuzzFeed. Just saying.
Yeah, that's
mainstream media.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, CNN and Fox. So that's this week. That's the Snopes. Unfortunately, Justin Bieber didn't get smacked in the face. We all kind of wish he did. And I'm probably going to get tweets and death threats from believers and whatever, but that's fine.
One more thing, and this is a Snopes callback, and the whole joke about you haven't read it first. Episode 7.
Yeah.
We did a Snopes about melting ice isn't actually melting.
Yeah.
Remember the whole,
That was a good one. I like that one.
Well, unfortunately, it took so long for that to get out to air. I saw that on mainstream media.
It was on news. Yeah, everybody had reported that.
I was like,
no, there's no chemtrails or anything.
And I couldn't say that we did it first because it took our episode.
But we totally did it first.
We shot that on the first day of the month, wasn't it?
It was literally 1st. Right after,
because it was right before the Super Bowl party that we shot that. Yeah, so we shot that February 1st. We did that first. I got the video with date stamps. Bitch.
Boom.
So
date stamped.
I just
done.
thought I'd put that out there. I thought that was kind of cool.
I think it is as well. So we are the hipster of Snopes and stuff for you.
The fucking hipster.
It's the glasses.
It's wait.
Oh yeah. Let me guess. You had those kind of glasses before they were cool. Is that?
Are these cool now? Are they cool? Awesome.
They were cool. They'll come back around. Okay. Everything's.
I didn't know they were cool. I like them.
Yeah, I think they look nice.
Usually my glasses are never cool.
If we showed them my old glasses, they'd be like, nerd.
You look at a nerd now, though.
I do. I'm always going to look like that. But anyways, that's this week's Snopes for you. Yeah, and we're always doing some internet investigation to try and find this stuff out. We'll have something new for you next week,
Making the world better. One website at a time.
One stupid, believable story at a time.
So it's that time of the episode for our new segment that we've had for a few weeks now called Tech Bytes.
Tech Bytes!
Tech Bytes! Yeah!
Drop it in fresh beats.
Boom. Anyways. So, there are 3 pieces of news we're going to talk about this week. It was a bit, you're like, it's not a big news week, but it was a pretty significant news week, I think, for technology. Yes. The first one, just in passing, we're not really going to spend a lot of time on it, but I did just want to say it because we got a lot of Microsoft haters out there. Windows 8 has officially jumped the 200 million licenses mark.
Hooray! 200 million people are now inconvenienced by bad OS.
So, I'm going to spoil a book for a minute. You need to read Year Zero.
You've been telling me about this.
Well, you will appreciate what you just said so much more.
All right, I'm going to check that out. I'll put it on the audiobook list.
Bill Gates makes an appearance in Year Zero. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
You need to read a book.
I hope he's a head in a jar.
So, anyway, I don't want to completely ruin it.
All right.
We'll talk about that book after you read it too, because trust me, it's totally worth it. The big story that I want to talk about first, though, is there's this company out there. They're called King.
The devil.
Or the devil, if you prefer. They made this little game.
What's it called? Candy
Candyland? Crush.
Candy Crush. And they've been Candy Crushing everyone who has any game out there
that's
like
even
theirs.
remotely like theirs.
Even games that weren't.
Even games that,
we talked about that.
Yeah. So King, this is not the first time we talked about King. And RJ mentioned that was probably back in episode 1 or 2 even.
Yeah. We knew this was coming.
We knew it was coming. King is basically the evil tyrant of third-party games in both the Google app and
if Zynga had never failed,
Apple
that's what
Play
King
Store.
is.
Basically, yeah, that's exactly what it was. They are what Zynga would have become.
Yeah.
They've come up along, and Zynga just bought somebody again recently.
Yeah, I don't know
We're
what
not gonna
money.
talk about that.
Anyways. So what did they do that was shitty this time around?
So Candy Crush Saga, and you know what? I'm never going to say Saga again. I just said that once.
Oh, it's Candy Crush. No one calls it Candy Crush Saga.
It's not a saga.
It's not a saga.
It's
saga. I think
of
dudes and like Vikings like
right.
going through the
It's as
tundra.
much of a Scylla as Twilight, but anyway, Candy Crush came out in 2012.
Yep.
Much to a lot of people's chagrin. Now, I will admit, I did play Candy Crush.
Yeah, you beat it
a long time before they added levels. I got all the way through it. I didn't go back and do the 3-star thing or whatever. Yeah. I didn't because at this point I was like,
I was addicted to it as well. I know people who are still addicted to it.
Done with the game.
But you cheated to get through it, right?
I totally cheated.
Use the in-browser app that can add anything you need.
Yeah. Just because I was done with the game.
I would have done that too.
Freaking hated King, and I just wanted to see what would happen when you ended the game.
If there was any in-game,
and there was no
by
ending.
the way, there's not.
That's nothing
they
there.
Still haven't added it. They added new levels, but there's no ending.
So, you know about Candy Crush, you know about all its little designs, and and basically, and if you don't realize this, it's nothing but Bejeweled.
It is. It's a game that they stole from someone else who started the market of swipe games
like a million years ago. So there's a game that came out in 2010. So 2 full years almost, and almost it's not quite 2 full calendar years.
But
nearly
2
2 years before Candy Crush.
In mobile app time that's like a freaking
an eternity,
forever.
There was a game called Candy Swipe. Now Candy Swipe looks remarkably like Candy Crush.
Gee, who would have thought that?
The designs are extremely similar. So our buddies at Geek Insider asked us to kind of look into this for them in a little bit, and sure enough,
investigation.
Wow! Not only is the game almost identical, graphics are enough different that they do get around copyright.
I was going to say and he had the copyright for a lot of his stuff.
The copyright, but the irony is, King is now suing this guy for copyright infringement against Candy Crush,
and they're trying to get his own personal filed and paid for copyright canceled because he can't defend himself at the level of court that they're requiring him legislative to.
Yeah,
they're saying that's fine. Go ahead and cancel his copyright, and we'll call it good.
Yep.
That's bullying. That's cyberbullying.
That's absolutely cyberbullying. I mean, essentially, it boils down to one simple problem. The guy who wrote Candy Swipe, who wrote this game in honor of his late mother, his mom died of leukemia.
Yeah, and he taught himself how to code.
Because she liked swipe games and she liked
She loved Bejeweled, for example.
Loved Bejeweled, right? So he wrote this game really in honor of her, and probably never really intended on making a lot of money. Just something he wanted to do, and which is awesome.
And it allowed him to be an independent developer.
Totally.
Until now.
And now he's being crushed in legal fees, crushed in lawsuits, crushed in this just umbrella of bullshit from King.
The corporate machine is basically eating away at this guy in every single
So he wrote this letter, and I'm not going to read the whole letter, but there is a link to the letter over at Geek Insider, or if you just go to candyswipe.com/king.html, you can read this whole letter, but it literally starts out, congratulations, you win. And it's just depressing.
And it's the most depressing thing you've read. Now, I went over to Geek Insider and I read that their post about what was going on, and I don't really even have words. Like, I'm not a guy who who runs out of things to say.
You're rarely speechless, aren't you?
Absolutely, but I read this letter and I felt like a 1980s commercial Indian on the side of the road and somebody just littered, just one tear.
The irony of that is that was a Mexican that played that.
Is it an Italian?
No.
Was it? No, I thought it was an Italian.
It was a Mexican.
We're going to have to Snopes that for you next week.
Yeah. It wasn't an Indian, though. It was not a Native American.
Of course not. It was not an actual Native American.
Because why cast a Native American for a Native American role?
That'd be stupid. It's like, why cast Robert Downey Jr. to play a black... Oh.
God, that movie. So, anyway. Candy Swipe,
My heart goes out.
Seriously.
Because this guy apparently has a family, I believe.
He does.
Well,
yeah.
And he was making money, and he was actually able to independently operate his business because of the extra revenue he was getting. So I mean, it's not always a lot, but every little bit helps, especially these days.
Every little bit helps.
And King, who's a company making bajillions of dollars as it is now.
And when you get there, what I want you to do when you read this letter is there's a link at the bottom that talks about the confusion between the two, and it's just basically a giant PDF with it shows the graphic differences essentially, and you will just literally you'll sit there and go, wow.
That's your mind right there, blowing up.
So that's, and like you, I was a little speechless too. I didn't really know what to say except for damn.
It's bad. It's bad news bears.
I'm gonna do something I rarely do. I'm gonna call for a boycott of King. Don't download another goddamn King software game as long as you live.
I fully support this boycott because not only are they a bad company, they have bad gaming practices,
horrible gaming practices. A lot of their stuff is very play to win.
No, it's all pay to win. Yeah, it's
pay to win. I mean,
yeah. That's they get.
You can't. Yeah. So,
I stayed on one level of Candy Crush for 30 days.
Of course you did.
Because I refused to give them
a dollar. Yeah. And you know what? You should refuse to give them a dollar. Don't download their games. Don't let their ad revenue jump.
No. In fact, if you have Candy Crush on your...
Get rid of it.
I want you to do this. I want you to help me to help you. I know you're addicted to Candy Crush. I know you're out there looking at your phone right now. You're like, I just want to play that next level. Just let me get...
You're watching this podcast, playing Candy Crush right now.
Delete that app.
Delete it.
Make it gone. You can replace it with other things. I'm playing a game right now that it has microtransactions in it.
Yeah.
But it is a Candy Crush replacement, and it helped get me off Candy Crush.
And by the way, when you're getting a Candy Crush replacement, make sure it's not another King game.
Absolutely. No more King games.
Because they have a Candy Crush replacement. It's vegetables or fruits or something. I don't even remember what it's called.
It's the farm. They have a bunch of the games like that.
Yeah.
It's the farm. They've got the farm game. They've got the pet box drop. Yeah. They've got the Papa Pear.
Replace it with something that's not from King.
No more King games. Not even on Facebook.
Not even on Facebook.
Just don't do it.
So, enough of that. Because
shall we move on?
That isn't even what got my blood boiling this week, RJ.
That's what I was going to say. Shall we? Speaking of giant, crazy corporations being dicks.
Do do do. You know what those tones are.
NBC.
Which is owned by... formerly NBC.
Formerly NBC, now Comcast.
See, a lot of people don't realize, and I wanted to start out with that because there are still people that don't realize Comcast owns NBC and NBC Universal.
What does that mean? GE, right?
Yeah. So what does that mean for all you out there? That means that Comcast not only is your ISP, but they're your content provider for
a major market channel.
A lot of major market channels. They have a stake in MSNBC, obviously, because that's an NBC / Microsoft thing. They have a stake in CNBC. They have a stake in, well, they own NBC. They have a very small stake in Fox.
Actually,
it's a tiny one.
Fox and NBC both
part of the Universal thing.
It's part of the Universal deal.
They have a huge stake in Sci-Fi.
Don't forget Hulu.
The massive stake in Hulu.
Massive
NBC
stake. Was the one behind Hulu's even just...
And a myriad of other network television channels that are out there. Now, this week, you probably heard, if you haven't, you must live under a rock.
Absolutely. It's been everywhere.
It was announced that for $46 billion in stock, I think, or $45 billion, something like that, they're going to buy Time Warner Cable.
They're going to try and buy Time Warner Cable. There's no way in hell that deal's going to go through.
If AT&T couldn't buy T-Mobile from Deutsche Telekom a few years ago, there's no way in hell that this is getting past antitrust.
I mean, Sprint, one of their competitors was like,
hell
no. They Z-snapped the fuck out of AT&T.
Yeah.
So I'm shocked that AT&T or Verizon or nobody has piped up and just gone, I don't think that's a good idea, you guys.
I'm kind of wondering if they just are waiting.
I think they are. I think they're waiting for it to go to the FCC board, and then they're going to be like, no.
Because I don't see Verizon letting this happen. I don't see AT&T letting this happen. And I don't
Verizon already took one big win. I think they're trying to keep it under the radar right now.
Even though they're technically smaller, I don't see companies like Charter, Dish, and DirecTV wanting this, going to let this happen either.
Especially Dish. I mean, they're on their last leg as it is right now after the whole Blockbuster thing imploded. That was a bad. Why did
they buy Blockbuster?
Yeah, I can actually tell you why. It was because they were able to release all brand new movie content that Blockbuster was receiving DVD wise to their service. Yeah. Unfortunately, they seem to have forgotten that Comcast has already been doing that for 10 years.
So let's talk about Comcast for a minute. So if Comcast buys Time Warner, you might have seen the pie chart. I think Gizmodo put a pie chart out.
They put it was a full infographic.
And it was really nice. It was like basically they're going to own 60% of whatever, blah blah blah, and that's great. Yes, they're going to have 30 million subscribers. They're going to be pushing internet to all the people. that's for me the smaller piece of this problem. Granted, it's a big problem.
They can just turn off half of network television for everyone else.
See, that's the part people are missing.
Oh, Dish doesn't want to give us enough money? We own that channel. Guess
Right.
you'll have to come to Comcast
and when we say own that channel, what people don't realize, divisions of Time Warner don't just include things like TNN, TNT, Time Warner Movies,
Spike,
and so on, in Spike. They include HBO, the home box office network, and its subsidiaries, which include Cinemax, for example. And
Are
all
they
of
still in Stars, or is that...
No, Stars
Okay.
is its own.
That's right.
But there is another one. It might be Encore. I can't remember.
It's Encore. That's what it is. Yeah.
They do own another one, though. So, anyway, but the big two are still HBO and Cinemax. There's a lot of original content. You got Game of Thrones content. You've got episodes content. You've got, even though it's on its last season this year, technically, True Blood is coming back.
It's still a huge... I mean, that's still a huge
market. So a lot of and HBO, now granted, Stars and Showtime have been doing a lot of new original content, but HBO's kind of owned.
Oh, they have
Owned content, original content for pay type
the only
television.
person who is for pay, especially the only person who's actually run any sort of defensive with them has been AMC when they hit Breaking Bad Gold.
Oh, I don't even think gold is fair. I think it looks better than gold.
Platinum. I mean,
titanium, laced in platinum, dipped in gold, and
apparently
covered in chocolate.
NASA needs to discover a new metal for what we're going to describe
unobtainium,
as Breaking Bad. Yeah,
basically.
unobtainium. That's.
Because damn, yeah, they really hit gold. And Walking Dead is a close fucking second.
And now they're getting Preacher.
I know. I'm so excited.
AMC's picking it up, but nobody
so
will watch it for anything other than any of those shows.
Yeah. Guess who owns the AMC? Time Warner Cable.
Yep.
So, it's like, dude, that means that essentially, yes, they're going to own 47% or whatever the hell it was of American households for ISPs.
Yeah.
But they're going to own like a third of network television.
And literally,
or more.
they can do that. They can.
Yes.
Remember when Dish tried to drop off
so right now,
CBS? I think it was CBS.
It's already happened again several times. Local markets, for those of you out there that have Dish Network or DirecTV, you might live in an area like East Tennessee right now.
Mm-hmm.
DirecTV has lost a lot of its local affiliates because they want more money, and DirecTV's telling them to go F themselves.
And then they have places like Scripps Howard for us here, who is a Comcast affiliate.
See how that works out?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, you want money?
Yeah.
All day long.
And the longest running one is WBKO in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's the local, I think, NBC affiliate. It will never be on Dish Network.
You'll never see it, ever.
And more things like that will definitely start to happen if Comcast buys Time Warner.
Yeah, because they'll pay those companies, or they'll just be like, "Look, you're an affiliate of us. If you want to stay an affiliate, you're not going with this. You're going to be Comcast only." And it could be. This is terrible.
It's horrible.
It's scary.
And this on the cusp of net neutrality being shut down.
And I think that's why Verizon hasn't said anything yet.
I think you might be right.
I think they're kind of like hiding, and they're like, okay, look, we got one big victory. We're not going to push it because they're going to look into this and find out we're wrong.
Yeah, and even though that's not what we're going to talk about, I am going to mention that a little bit because, now, full disclosure, I do work for AT&T.
I don't.
So...
and I'm a Comcast supporter.
Now, I have a Comcast business cable modem. I have 100 megabits down, 22 up, or whatever it is.
Which is weird because my up is higher than yours is, but my down's lower.
What's your up?
My down is my down can go up to 98.
Yeah.
But my up is like 35.
Oh, yeah, mine's 20. So it says 20, but I get 22.
Yeah, you always get a little extra.
And I get 5 IPs and a bunch of other stuff. And I'm on my own node, so I don't share my access.
You don't share, yeah.
So I actually get
That's why your Netflix works.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to talk about. You're right. That is why my
Netflix report came out recently. It was this month, I believe, and they proved that Verizon
the two biggest ISPs for speed right now on the planet are Verizon
and Comcast.
AT&T, believe it or not, is actually a close third.
They're trying. We're putting in the fiber bones to
they're
people's
fiber
houses.
bones, and by the way, they're fiber
DSL.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
That's what I wanted to talk about. So, where I have Uverse here because I work for AT&T, and as far as TV service, I actually like Uverse's television service a lot. The only reason I don't use their internet is because right here where I live, I can only get. By the way, for normal people, it's more than enough. I can get 24 meg internet.
That's not enough for me.
Which it's not enough for me either. So I don't. Right, but I mean that's my point. So I'm not bad mouthing that. What they're dropping now in Houston, and they just started in Atlanta, and it is on its way to Knoxville.
It is coming here. They've actually already been laying. They're going to neighborhoods.
300 megabit
Yeah, it's a direct line from box to house.
Basically.
Yes, you will share a node, but the way fiber works is completely different.
Yeah, you're
it's
totally
point to
fine.
point. It's not distributed the way you would think it is.
So here's what that means. Now, I'm going to talk, and I don't want to talk about their 300 megabit service. I'm actually going to talk about the average AT&T customer, which only buys 12 to 18.
12 to 18, which is
still a lot for normal people, but you and I would literally have heart attacks.
I would die.
So those customers are getting some of the best Netflix experiences right now in the entire country.
Like people like me who have 98 megs coming into their house.
Comcast or the gigabit Verizon drop
stuff,
that's in Chattanooga, for example. They're getting 1 to 2 meg top.
And that's megabits. Now, what that means is megabits per second. You have to maintain an average
about 4.5.
7 for HD.
Oh, yeah, for HD.
For HD, it has to be 7 megs.
Right about 7.
Now, for regular, just 720p, which is what your television shows you,
right.
4.5.
4.5. You're not even getting half of that.
Yeah, and people have been complaining. It hit me before it hit pretty much anybody else in Knoxville.
And it's been hitting people in slow bits here and there over really the last about 6 months. This has been a slow creeping problem.
Yeah.
And both for the two biggest offenders right now really are Verizon and Comcast. Time Warner's not doing that great either, but...
Well, I figured out how they've been picking it. I went back and looked at my traffic logs, because I keep traffic logs of how much bandwidth I use a month.
So do I.
I would probably say that 3/4 of the bandwidth that was coming out of my house
was Netflix.
Of
course it was.
And I'm pretty positive they probably ran the same stuff that I did, and they were like, that guy's got to stop, because I am an addict.
Yeah.
I will watch it if I'm just doing something else.
And in my case,
sound on.
absolutely. And now, so talking about me, I stream even more than you do, and you do stream a lot.
Absolutely.
So to give you an idea, now I should first qualify this to I run a side business, a software development company out of my house. My developer, when he logs in, when he runs Visual Studio on his laptop, he's actually launching a virtual desktop across the internet.
Here, yeah.
So I use about 1.4 to 1.6 terabytes of bandwidth per month.
That's a lot. In case you don't realize that is an almost unheard of amount for just a person.
Right.
Or at home.
It is, and that's from someone who doesn't do anything illegal on the internet. I mean, that's this is usually the kind of.
I was gonna say you were downloading ISO files the other day,
right.
And they were legal ISO files because you were doing an install of the new server, right?
Right. I have a Microsoft MSDN subscription, so I constantly downloading large quantities of bits. So yeah, and I get like awesome speed. So, and my Netflix is great, but it's probably because I'm on business class.
You're on business class. I can guarantee that's what it is. And the weird thing is, for me, it's great in the daytime
because nobody else is doing anything.
Even on the snow day when everybody else was home.
Oh, really?
It's perfect 1080p in the daytime. Wow. However, the second it hit 7 o'clock, it dumped.
That's not suspicious at all.
No, I mean this is really
so. I mean, granted, I know this is a little bit of a tangent from the original story, but for me it ties together because it shows you what Comcast already as a giant,
as a huge monopoly. I do consider them a monopoly, and technically, through the merger buyout they did with NBC,
yeah,
the FCC required them. Even though it's been dropped, and I went back and looked this up, even though net neutrality was dropped for Verizon, Comcast is still required under those regulations of that merger that they have to be net neutral. But I don't think it's going to matter now because you can consistently see their speeds have been dropping.
Consistently.
It's
horrible.
It's bad.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, I'm appalled at Comcast. I mean, I'll tell you right now, and I've said this to, a lot of people. As soon as Uverse, and basically there's two reasons Uverse or AT&T's dropping the 300 megabit fiber. Digital Life, which is our home security stuff, which I am so going to do. It's coming to Knoxville too. That's all kind of happening around the same time. The day that happens, I'm dropping my business class service because
you won't need it.
I pay $200 a month for internet. So if you're doing the math, I pay $2,400 a year
just for internet,
for my internet access.
I don't pay nearly that much. But I still get to complain when my speed is when I can test the speed on my television.
Well, when you're
and I'm plugged directly into the router, that's a problem.
When I can LTE stream from my AT&T iPad faster than you can stream,
absolutely, and
from your freaking cable modem.
And here's another thing about Comcast. If I go to my laptop and I choose to watch Netflix on my laptop, that's funny. It's in true HD. But yet, if I watch it on my television or a Roku or my Xbox, it's bad. Why does that work? Oh, wait. Comcast can't actually filter out the difference in traffic for the laptop. They would have to kill all the speed of the service going to that, or they just haven't implemented it yet.
Okay, I was gonna say because I would think they'd be able to do that.
I don't think they can yet without it being super noticeable. Because I'll get perfect HD on my laptop.
Guess what? It's super noticeable, Comcast.
It's super noticeable.
You've already failed on that attempt.
Yeah.
Stop it. Just friggin' stop it. And for all you big companies out there, AT&T, Verizon, even little Charter.
Yeah. Little.
Step up and
say something.
Say something.
Don't let Comcast
it's so
push you
bad.
around.
There's a local newspaper. My mother actually writes for a local newspaper in little town of Irwin called Irwin Record, and there's an editorial that her editor wrote about the other side of Comcast, the money side.
Yeah.
So not only is your speed gone to shit, but your cable bill probably went up about $50 a month over the last year, hasn't it?
Luckily, I am not affected by such.
Oh, you
things.
only do internet, right? You don't actually subscribe.
No,
to
we
cable.
have cable.
Oh, do you?
I don't have. I don't use it, but we have it. That's another reason I don't feel bad about downloading network television. We pay for cable.
Yeah.
It's the same thing about me
That's
going
right.
and watching it.
Okay, I forgot.
Now I will say this, but the reason it doesn't.
Are you on a promo package for now?
We were on a promo package, but even when that promo package comes up,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I always do.
Call them bitch, and they give you the extension.
Absolutely.
By the way, that won't work next time.
It will.
You'll get a promo, but it won't be as good.
I'm pretty good about and the only reason is because I used to work at Comcast.
Oh, okay.
I just know the right people to talk to.
Good. Well, that's good for you.
Yeah. For everybody else,
But
you
for
guys
everybody
are
else,
fucked.
my parents, they're billing $50. Our friends Beth and Ted, their bill went up like
it's painful.
$75 a month.
Oh, it's painful for them.
They switched to
They
Uverse.
switched
They
to
went
Uverse,
to AT&T because you know. So
Ted hates the speed he's getting now, but at least it's working and he's not paying as much.
Right. He hates the speed because he's a little bit like us. He wants faster speed. I mean, they have good speed. It's 24 meg internet, but granted, he was used to 50.
Well, not only that, but
You're
when
used
you've
to
got
50,
multiple mobile devices roaming
Right.
around your damn house, your bandwidth's getting cut and split, and that's,
Yeah, I know. And he wouldn't have had to switch if Comcast didn't suck so bad.
That's the thing.
I'm not anti-Comcast.
I'm a Comcast supporter. Like when people go, "Hey, who should I use for internet?" I'm like, "You should probably use Comcast." I know it sucks, but that's what is there. I mean, I'll test out 300
what this
megs.
little town is trying to do, and I feel bad for them because the whole county only has 16,000 people in it, so they're not big enough for anybody to care about.
Fine, get them.
But they're trying to get somebody else to come in.
Create their own ISP, just like Chattanooga
That's
did.
what they're essentially trying to do.
Yeah, it sucks. You raise taxes for the year or whatever, but once it's done, you get, Google Fiber speed to your house for like $10 a month.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and not just they want to do full content though. They want a
That's
cable.
fine.
They don't just want to do
that's
ISP.
fine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I wish them seriously a lot of luck in that endeavor.
Good luck, you guys.
'Cause,
Fight
man.
the man,
You got
especially the
to.
Comcast.
Because
man.
this whole legalized monopoly. I mean, you go to there's no monopoly.
Yes, there is.
You got to realize most of the country is monopolized by division.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Johnson City, Tennessee, is the one I'm going to use as an example.
Okay.
Because it's still this way. Knoxville finally isn't. We have Knowledge. Well, it's WoW now, right?
Wow, and we don't talk about it because it sucks.
It does. It really does suck. But we have WoW, AT&T, and Comcast. In Lenore City, they have Charter instead of Comcast.
Well, I mean, if you go right down to Farragut from
Right.
here, it's Charter.
It's Charter too. That's
Charter,
true.
yeah.
Right. So, and of course, you can always use satellite. But in Johnson City, Tennessee, it's still like where it used. And most of the country, by the way, is still this way. In towns that are typically areas that are 100,000 people and less are going to be designed like this.
If you're not super urban,
Charter and Comcast are both in Johnson City. One side of the town is Charter.
and the other side's Comcast.
Yeah.
That's the way West Knoxville used to be.
That's a monopoly. That's a duopoly.
but it still counts.
Individual monopolies because if you move from one side of town to the other, you switch providers. You can't choose between the two.
There's no choice.
You get whichever one you're at.
That's what you get, and suck it.
So hopefully more and more areas will get a little bit better. Maybe these smaller townships. I mean, Chattanooga was big enough that it had more, but it didn't like any of its options. And
So they
were
made
like,
their own.
The municipal system was like, you know what? Screw you guys.
Well, what they did was they spent the excess money that they had built up.
Right.
They did that, and then they charged a reasonable price for it until they got that money back.
Yep.
And then they were like, oh, by the way, we're dropping prices.
Yeah.
Because they just needed to maintain.
They needed to build the infrastructure,
Yeah.
and that was what So yeah, it's awesome, and
So
it's
good
great
on you
speed.
guys.
Absolutely, and more towns should do
And Google Fiber, if you're looking for a new place to call home, feel free to come to Knoxville, Tennessee.
that. Actually, don't. I hate Google. I hate Google. I'm very anti-Google as a company.
Anymore.
I'm anti-Google
All
as
right.
their business practices are worse than King's.
That's a whole nother conversation we'll get
Just
into
saying.
later. But
So There are petitions on the internet, not that they mean a hill shit of beans.
Yeah, go ahead and
but
sign those.
Go ahead and
they-
sign them.
that'll do
What you
some
should
good.
do, though,
Waste of
is
time.
honestly,
Call your local providers.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And bitch and bitch and bitch.
They have
and then
to listen.
And then when you're done bitching with them, call your mayor.
Yeah.
Call your senator.
And please don't email them because
Oh, no, don't ever.
they don't ever check that.
Yeah, they don't.
No one. Actually, there's a guy, some lowly intern somewhere.
delete,
yeah,
delete,
he's
delete,
going.
delete.
I don't care about any of this crap.
Yeah,
I'm not getting
so.
paid.
That was the big. That's the really
big story
the big story this week in Tech Bytes. So, yeah.
I think that's
No
going to wrap it
Comcast
up.
on
We're going to keep on top of this story for you guys because
Yeah.
I know it's going to develop over the next month or two,
Yep.
especially as we're heading into quarter one of the business year.
Yep.
And anything big like this always goes down in quarter one.
200 million Windows 8 users. King is a big piece of shit.
Oh, wait. Did you want to talk about Lenovo real quick?
Oh, you mean how they keep buying companies?
Buying more stuff. We'll talk about that next time on Technology Bytes. But again, quarter one, big things are happening.
Yeah. And apparently Lenovo has Nintendo money, so stick around for that.
Yeah. So, Rev, this week we're going to do another segment that we've kind of had going on.
A little bit, yeah.
And it's going to become a regular thing, just like with your Tech Bytes.
Right.
I have my side. You're more into the tech news. Well, we're both into tech news, but I love video games. And I know you love video games, too.
I do. We
So-
both shake and fidget.
Absolutely.
And I play the hell out of Simpsons Tapped Out. Mm-hmm. I mean, the hell.
Yeah. So, this is the segment Game Changer.
Game changer.
We specifically talk about what's going on in gaming culture
I
this
just had a
week.
Team America moment when you did that for some reason.
Fuck yeah.
Game changer. Fuck yeah.
Fuck girl.
Coming to save the motherfucking day, yeah.
So the big thing right now, and it's probably going to help Microsoft out a lot, is the Titanfall. Titanfall is the new mech game coming out for the Xbone, the Xbox One. And
This game has been in development for how many years?
technically it's been in development. They started development on this game since the conception of the Xbox One. When the
Right.
first hardware
Yeah,
was
that's
out for
what I
that, they were
thought.
like, yo,
I
look,
thought
this is
so.
what we're sticking in there. Please go make it. This is their top.
Yeah.
Some people call them AAA games would be the
Right,
best way to describe it. And it's made by Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
The original members of Infinity Ward who left Call of Duty when
Right.
the Activision thing went down
Yeah.
and there was an issue there.
Yeah.
So look for Xbox Ones to be selling like crazy right now because they just opened the beta for it. Now here's another piece of information. They're also either today or tomorrow, actually it'll probably be open by the time this airs, are also opening the PC beta, which is almost unheard of for them to do a console and a PC beta at the same time.
You know why though?
They've got two different dev teams for the PC
different
side
dev
and the
teams.
Xbox One side.
And
And they got Microsoft money.
it's the second launch of the PC beta technically.
It is.
So
The nice thing about this
I was
is,
on the first one.
Were you?
I was.
I didn't.
I'm a charter beta Titanfall freaking. I got a T-shirt and everything.
The thing about it is I'm really excited to play the game. I love shooter
Oh,
games.
it's
It has no single player story, however.
It's so having played. Actually, I have. I can't play it now because they cut the original beta
Absolutely,
out. And you have to do it again. But I assume they'll let me in the new one.
They probably will.
But it was a weird game for me the first time I played it.
I'm
When I
sure
say
that
weird,
everybody's gonna. The mechanics are
Like, I didn't know what the hell to even do the first time I played it.
because I mean it's combining mech fighting with also what is it? Free running, but it's called parkour.
Right.
And guns.
Right.
In the future, buildings are falling over. All sorts of crazy stuff is going down.
With like no immediately, at least at the first round of beta, intuitive way to even do any of that
Yeah,
shit.
I think they're going to give you a an intro before
God.
you go into the multiplayer because it's all multiplayer. The whole game,
You walk into the
that's what it
multiverse.
is.
Yeah.
So I assume there'll be a training area, a training
Hope
stage.
so. Hope so.
Otherwise, that would just be a bad principle for this. People on the internet are really butthurt about the redesign of Sonic the Hedgehog. Have you seen it? He looks a
No,
little
I
goofy.
missed it.
He looks a little cartoony. I really like it.
Well, he's cartoony.
Well, they're complaining that he's huge, that he's stretched out
I'll go
limb-wise,
check him.
and his arms are all bleh. People are pissed.
wow.
Like
I missed it.
The internet
this
is
week,
all
I've been
butthurt.
so busy this week, and then going out to get my tattoo this weekend. I pretty much I rarely unplug, and I was unplugged for like 3 days,
which
this
is
week.
crazy to think about for you. But the thing about it for me,
I'm like,
I've seen goofier Sonic redesigns before, period. And I mean, I see fan
Like
art
the
all the
cartoon?
time. Yeah. I don't know why people are super butthurt about this. The game actually looks fantastic and may actually
I'll
ship a
play
couple
it.
Wii U
I'll play
console.
it.
Well, you probably won't.
oh, is it Wii U
Only on Wii U.
Oh.
It's Wii U exclusive since Nintendo basically owns Sega now. Yup, that's that Nintendo money playing in.
Can't they at least get it for the Wii? I mean, I do have a Wii.
It may come out on the Wii as well.
All right.
So, but it probably won't look as good.
Yeah.
Because it looks, even though it's kind of cartoony, it looks gorgeous. I mean, I was like,
I'll buy a Wii U to play that game.
as
much as I fucking hate to admit it.
I hate Sonic 3D games. But this one actually looks streamlined and
I love
good.
Sonic game. I miss Sonic. God.
Now, speaking of Nintendo, the internet was all abuzz about the new...
I'd like to say something real quick. We don't get sponsorship for talk. I know
No, we don't. We talk a lot about Nintendo.
We're not getting paid for
I don't
that.
get any of that Nintendo money share. I wish I did. Just send me a... You know what you should do, Nintendo? Send us a free Wii U.
Dude, seriously,
We would do a whole unboxing review, and maybe
Absolutely.
Steven would change his mind about the Wii U.
There's the challenge. All right, Nintendo, prove me wrong.
Prove Steven wrong and prove me right, because I'm always right, about the Wii U being awesome.
All right,
because it
good.
is. But it was a
will hook it
buzz.
to my big
One of the
TV.
biggest things that they have going on for them, Smash Brothers. It's a huge franchise that spanned multiple games
I
now.
never really played Smash Brothers, but I know it's a huge
Love
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Now, with having said that, they announced a new character this week, which is Little Mac.
So is it like the Smash Brothers triplets now?
Well, no. They changed the character lineup for every game. Now, you have your basic lineup, but they always have the co-stars for Nintendo. They always have different ones.
Right.
This time they introduced Little Mac, and if you're not familiar with Little Mac, that would be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which was renamed to just Punch-Out. That's the guy that you play in that, Little Mac.
Oh my gosh.
He looks awesome, and a lot of people, because he is tiny. He's a tiny dude.
Right.
But they're saying that he could be probably one of the most versatile characters the game's ever seen.
Interesting.
I'm very excited about this.
Cool.
I know that I'll play that game the day it comes out. I will. There's no question about it.
That'll be Wii U only too?
That is absolutely Wii U only. It's a Nintendo product that is just for them. Every different Nintendo console that comes out gets its own set of these games. Like they get their own Mario, they get their own Zelda, they get their own.
True.
You know, the only time that it was actually cross would have been the Wii U and the GameCube when the Wii and the GameCube when the first Zelda came out for the Wii.
Yeah.
It was also cross-platform for
right.
the GameCube, which nobody bought it on.
Yeah.
Here's something that really kind of blew my mind. Gearbox makes games such as Borderlands 1 and 2, but unfortunately, we may not see Borderlands 3 for a long time.
I heard about this.
Gearbox has basically said we're not doing it yet.
I'm a little butthurt.
I am so butthurt because those games, even the first one, which is not nearly as good as the second one,
It's still awesome.
it's still fantastic, and the second one was
And here's why.
in my opinion, that was game of the year that year.
It really was game of the year. And so I got them both on Steam along with a million other games that I own on Steam. And I still go back and play both of those games.
I've maxed out so many characters on Borderlands. And the thing is, Gearbox is a great company for me because they're constantly putting out DLC that is real DLC. Like, I will pay them.
Unlike
"Here's $6."
Defiance, Tryon.
I'll pay them like $6.99, right, for that.
Sorry,
but that's fine. It's 4 hours of content. That is a whole extra campaign. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the game industry. And they don't push it on you. You don't need it. It's not pay to win or anything like that.
Right.
You know, it's actual.
Yeah, and they're not all. I mean, to be fair, it's not like they're all pay
But it's
to
not
win.
like Call of Duty. Get 13 new map packs that you can murder your friends and yell at children on Xbox Live with.
Yeah.
Tell kids that they're the reason their parents are divorced.
Or if you're Defiance, pay us $20 to play this character, or don't, and everyone else will laugh at you.
Yeah. Exactly, but then everybody's gonna laugh at you because everybody's playing that character and everybody looks the same and you're all stupid.
You walk in, it's like 1,000 castathons.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole. I can think of a couple of MMOs that's gone down in. All right, so the last thing, game changer. Yeah, but to be fair, their expansion were actually good. I mean, there was plenty of actual content in them. Well, I mean, we don't talk about
Kung Fu Panda was crap.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they redid the whole game in that one.
Mr. Pandaria, to call it by its actual name, from a gameplay standpoint, was actually fantastic.
Well, see, its
implementation of that friggin' panda character was bad for one reason. It was, even for Warcraft, too cartoony.
They were one Jack Black away from literally just robbing that movie.
And I mean, I'm talking, and I say for Warcraft because WoW is nothing but a cartoon.
Yeah.
So when you're too cartoony for that environment, you did it wrong.
The big story that I want to touch on.
Yeah.
This is a game that I've been waiting for probably about 2 years.
Ooh.
And I don't follow game news anymore for long periods of time like this. I don't. Because I get too hyped up.
So this is your Diablo 3 like it was for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge.
Which I know people don't play. I still freaking play Diablo 3. So
South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
It's a game that was it's gonna launch. It's already it's
been done
gold.
for how long?
It
Like a
wasn't
year?
exactly done. Here's what happened. THQ was working on it, and they were like, "Yep, we're done. We're releasing." And right before they released,
They sold out.
they hit the shitter and they sold everything. Ubisoft, being a smart company the way that they are, bought
them up.
South Park. But then they were like, they looked at the final release and they go, no.
Yeah.
And they were like, and they literally, they didn't scrap the game, but they went back and retouched up everything.
I heard that.
And they also worked straight with Matt and Trey, all the animators of South Park. The basic storyline,
Which is
that
good. That's a good idea. I mean,
you're a new kid who moves to South Park. You get to customize, I think, a little bit of your look and things like that. And it's an RPG. And I don't like RPGs, but I just watched the first 13 minutes of the game on Kotaku the other day.
so I like RPGs. I might have to check this out.
I used to be in love with RPGs.
Is this PC and console?
I think it's PC. Yeah, it is actually.
Okay.
It should be PC and console.
All right, good.
I'll be playing it on the Xbox.
And I'll most likely do the PC.
Probably.
When it comes to RPGs, I tend not to do those on Xbox.
Well, I would
so-
do this one on Xbox just because there's not going to be any difference in the graphics at all.
Yeah.
No, there's not. It's
No, I
all the
can see that.
papercraft.
Well, I mean, that's like, I made fun of Defiance earlier, but, I play it on the PC with an Xbox controller. So,
Yeah. For me, I want the big screen adventure, but watching it for
I have
13
three
minutes.
27-inch high-quality
I
monitors.
know.
I'm good.
But it was literally like watching an episode of South Park.
Really?
I was watching someone play
I gotta go watch this.
an
I
episode
need
of
to go
South
watch
Park.
this. All right.
It was amazing.
Well, I think I'm in. I haven't even watched South Park in a while, but
I haven't either. I've been bad about it, but I still love that show.
I do too.
And it's still culturally relevant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I've been playing South Park game. I owned a copy of Chef's Love Shack on Nintendo 64.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow, I didn't even own a Nintendo 64.
I own it, and the game is terrible. It's You Don't Know Jack with South Park characters.
Right, yeah, that's what
but
I heard.
I played that game until I knew every question on that damn game. And I did all the mini games, everything.
Nice.
I know that's kind of a short game changer for this week, but
Still, it's a couple big things.
those are a couple big things for me, but it's been a slow week in video game news.
Kind of was a slow week in video game news.
And I can't just call it. If I keep talking about Nintendo this much, we're just gonna have to call this segment Nintendo. We talk about fucking Nintendo this week because that's any of the big news lately. All is directly relevant to Nintendo.
Yeah.
If you're really curious, the Xbox
Next week, Lenovo buys Nintendo.
I was gonna say, or Nintendo buys Lenovo, and they're getting into the PC game. Haha, we tricked all y'all bitches. But the only other big thing I can think of right now is that it is February. Major Nelson just confirmed that the Xbox One first update has gone and has launched. It's out there.
Which, by the way, is now when I start to look at buying one.
Oh, That's when
I start to look at it. I still probably won't for a while, but I don't buy the next. I never buy the next gen console until at least after the first update.
Well, this one
fixes a lot.
It fixed a lot of stuff, but it added a big thing. It added a battery indicator to the main screen for your controller, which is super important, by the way. Because if you're in the middle of a multiplayer game and your batteries die, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, hang on, time, that guy's control." They're just gonna hunt you down and murder you while you scurry around your living room for
when I play online
batteries.
games. You know what I use?
What?
My wired controllers.
That's probably a good call.
I only use my batteries for offline. I also use my wired controllers for fighting games because I don't like the pregnant pack. It gets it gets a little bit of my way.
You won't have that issue with the new one.
I know. I do like the new. I really do like the new
felt
controller.
It's amazing.
It's
sexy.
I went down to Best Buy to just kind of put my hands on one and play with it.
It feels perfect to me.
It really does. And I am going to buy. So I've been talking about. I will buy an Xbox One. I will say it might not happen in 2014 though.
It'll happen for me in 2014.
I can't.
It's probably buying
when Halo
next.
launches.
I'm probably buying
basically
one next
when I get to play Halo for the first time on it somewhere, that'll make me buy it.
Well, I'll tell you this right
I
now.
love Halo.
I will probably be buying one next month. It's my birthday. I decided I was going to buy. Well, they screwed me on that one. I'll explain that later off the air. But I'll probably buy one, and when I do, I'll bring it over here first thing, and we'll get the camera out, and we will do an unboxing, and we'll sit down and play it, and we'll show you guys the video feed, and we'll talk over it, and give you our how we feel about it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But
I'll try to put an Xbox 360 game in it and cry.
Yeah. Well, actually, you can always run the Xbox 360 through the HDMI in.
Right.
And play it that way. A lot of people have been doing that. And Microsoft's like, please don't do that. It's no.
The lag.
There's a little bit of lag. Again, there's another update coming out next
people
month.
just buy a fucking AVR.
There's going to be a new one coming out next month for another update that's going to fix a lot of stuff, including a lot of the social sharing issues that they've been having. And on top of that, that's not even the spring update, which will still be coming for both Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Those are the two big updates, the spring-fall updates. We'll probably see it same time we always do in April.
Ish.
So, yeah, that's pretty much.
That's like what, September-ish for the fall, and it's like November last year.
Yeah, and it's November. It's usually November. They're always like, it's coming. It's coming. And I'm just like, is it November 24th yet? Because it's not going to.
Right.
So that's Game Changer for this week. That's all we got for you. And hopefully we'll be back with the same segment next week. And we won't actually talk about Nintendo, but we probably will.
Yes, we will.
So, guys, I'm not a big mobile game player. I know that you are a big
huge
mobile game
I
player.
play a piss ton of mobile games.
I play like 3.
Every time he looks at my phone, actually, anytime anyone looks at my phone, they literally go ape shit.
You have 1,000 apps, and
do.
I think like at least half of them are games.
Probably about half.
Yeah.
I have a 64 gig iPhone and a 128 gig iPad, and they're both almost full, and they're fucking full of games. So,
well, I came across a game this morning while I was laying in bed, regretting lazy Sunday and just being like,
But Sunday, so for those who don't know, we usually shoot on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I was out of town getting a new tattoo.
Everything
New
off.
tattoo. And it did it. I completely threw everybody's game off. So we're shooting on Sunday, which is pants optional day.
That's my thing. And
did you
see what I posted on Twitter this morning?
I did.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Was it like no pants? I don't even remember what it was. But it was something about not wearing pants.
Yeah.
And
my favorite one of those is still roses are red, bacon is too. Poems are hard. Bacon.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So
mobile games.
I just opened the App Store and I do this occasionally. I'll just open it and just.
Why do you think I have so many fucking games on my thing?
It's like opening the fridge.
It really
is. It is the digital phone version of opening the fucking fridge, even though I know it's in it.
I don't have a girlfriend. I have a refrigerator.
Yeah. And I open it and I go, oh, Adventure Time, cool. And I didn't even, you couldn't see the rest of the name. It just said Adventure Time. And I saw Jake the dog holding cards, and I was like, no way. And I clicked on it, and it was Card Wars. I'm a huge CCG nerd. Yeah. I love collectible card games.
I have to admit right now, I admitted this to Tammy the other day.
We got a box of Magic cards somewhere?
No. I've never played a card game like that.
Whoa.
I've never played Magic the Gathering. She about flipped her fucking lid in the car.
I know you, and I'm not trying to stereotype you, but you seem like somebody who would have been at the game store.
And what I try to tell her is, you have to remember there's an age difference. Like, I'm 36. She's 27. You're 27, 28.
Yeah, I'll be 28 next month.
Right. So, there's 9 years between
There's a
us.
gap, yeah.
And that gap essentially is my D&D to your Pogs, Pokemon, and card games.
And I played the shit out of D&D too. But
Right.
that was your thing at that time.
That was my point. So, yes, had I been your age, I would have played it. But now, of course, now that I've admitted that out loud, I have to play.
I got a one up for you. Right. Here's what it was. When I turned 19, I was huge into Yu-Gi-Oh! At the point in time. I played that card game all the time. I probably sank $3,000 into it in one year. And I wasn't making the kind of money I'm making now.
Right.
I was like working at Walmart and stuff like that. So I had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Birthday. I had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Birthday cake. And there was... But I love CCGs like this. I used to play Magic. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And the reason I kind of stopped is because, it's super expensive.
Right.
And, I just didn't have time.
Right.
But I bought the game this morning on my phone. It was a little bit more expensive than most apps are.
How much was it?
$3.99.
Yeah, and I paid more for that. You and I had the argument about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy
I'm not
4
paying that
launched.
much.
It's $16.
Not paying
and
that
I
much.
probably will pay for it eventually. I usually what I do is I wait till it goes on sale for $7.99 because
I would pay $7.99. I would.
And then that's when I'll buy it.
My limit, my Insta-buy area, and I'm sure there's marketing people out there right now going, all right, we got our pens and paper, is anything under $5.
Yeah,
I can justify
just about anything.
Pretty much anything that's under $5.
I agree with that.
If I'm going to pay more than $5 to kill myself with cigarettes.
Yeah, if it's exactly. So, and if it's $1, it's an instant buy.
Absolutely. I don't even think about it. I'm just like $1, whatever. So I let it download. It downloaded really quickly. It's only like 200 megs.
It's pretty small.
That's pretty small. And I opened it up, and I was like, oh, cool, it's flat. And I thought it was going to be 2D, and then it spins into its 3D area.
Oh, that's cool.
The game looks really... It's just texture, animated
So would
texture.
I enjoy this, you think?
I think
I'm not a
that
card
you would
guy, but-
love
alright.
this game, and it's a good introduction because it's super easy.
There is a card game that I actually played recently because I got on the beta of a digital version of a card game. Again, having never played the card game, the World of Warcraft card. game.
Hearthstone.
Right. I got on the beta for the Hearthstone game.
I played it,
and I actually did kind of like it.
I like it.
It's but I'm so not good at.
Oh, I'm terrible at that game.
Yeah, that I keep getting my butt just.
I got destroyed in that game a couple times.
But being in the beta, I got like a bunch of like specialty cards.
You get the specialty cards. I got a lot of those,
yeah.
and I probably will sell my account when it goes live.
Yeah.
When I'll have all those cards, I'll be like, "Who wants them?"
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that too.
That's probably what I'm gonna do.
But so I should borrow your phone and just play it a little bit.
I think you should.
All right, I'll do that.
And the thing about the game, if you're familiar with Adventure Time,
I love Adventure Time.
It's got all it.
Man,
Well, you don't.
I love
just,
Adventure Time.
You don't just play as Jake or Finn.
Oh, can you play as anybody?
Each character that you defeat on the third round, you get as a game card. I've already picked up BMO and Marceline.
Oh,
And they all have their own
awesome.
Ultimo
See,
powers that do things on the board or stats-wise.
That's awesome.
And it's really fun. I spent 2 hours not moving, laying in my bed like this or like this or just this morning, playing this game. I don't ever play a game like I do. Like when I play a game, I play a game. I'm playing the Marvel Puzzle Quest game right now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
I like Puzzle Quest games.
I love it. But usually for me, that's a 3 to 5 to 10 minute at a time. I don't think I've ever spent longer than half an hour playing a game on my phone. Ever.
You know, even for as much as I play an individual game, probably not me either.
I mean, even Infinity Blade, I can run through Infinity.
The only exception is Shakes and Fidget, which we talked about last week.
But
and that's only
we
because
do it at spots.
Right, it's only 2 minutes at a time, not straight through.
We don't. That's crazy talk.
What would you do, Shakes and Fidget, for that long period of time? Watch the counter
you just
tick
have to watch
down,
the counter tick down.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, there is one thing that I don't really agree with about this game. And that's something we're going to roll right into. It's microtransactions. Now, they did their microtransactions really well. You can't buy cards-ish. What you do is you buy gems. You can buy gems.
You have to buy the currency.
Kind of, sort of. You can only buy, like, it's just the price is like 1. So you can use 1 gem to buy.
But the game cost money.
It did, and that's what bothers me. It's a $3.99 game. Now, you can get your cards and stuff like that through beating them, or you can pay the gems and buy booster packs.
Okay. Now, is there anything you can't get without paying for it? Anything.
They give you 5 free gems. And there's one system that I have a slight issue with, but I don't at the same time. If you were to, say, lose a battle, right?
Yeah.
You can spend a gem, reshuffle your deck, and get all your health back.
Okay.
It is kind of pay to win at that point.
Yeah.
But I fully agree with why they did it that way, because it's like a continue.
Drop another quarter in the arcade.
Drop another quarter in the... And that's how I feel about it, because you're not required to use that. If you lose, that's fine. You can choose the... And they tell you. They go, hey, look, if you decide
you just
that you're
wait for your health to build up over natural time?
No, you don't. It's instant. But for this
you
is...
just start over.
Pretty much. It says, hey, look, if you're going to lose this battle, you'll lose this much experience, this many coins, and 2 random cards that could be in your deck. And I'm like, I don't want to lose any cards. I probably will sink $5 into this.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's because I chose to. It's not because I feel like I need it to...
But you can at least still play the game if one decides.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, there is one thing. You can only play so many levels at a certain... Because you have a life thing up here that's different than your life meter.
Okay.
So it's like paying for turns, but they come back. And if you beat a boss, you get another addition to it, and it fills the meter completely.
Okay.
It's, again, something I agree with, especially knowing how addicted kids get to games. Yeah. They'll sit there and they'll do their tries, and once they got to wait. It teaches patience.
That's good,
which is totally with the Adventure Time motto and, their whole thing. But fuck a bunch of microtransactions.
Dude. Yeah.
We got to talk about this right now in front of God and everybody. I need to have a come to Jesus meeting with somebody.
I'm talking to you, EA.
That's right. Talking to you, EA. I'm talking to you, King. I'm talking to everybody who wants to make a quick buck with a crappy game that you've designed to work around microtransactions.
So there are 2 types of games, and in those there are 2 types of subgenres.
Absolutely.
So there's freemium, which means the game is free to download. So I play, we'll start with EA. I play Simpsons Tapped Out. That's a freemium game. You can play that game 100% for free. You download the app, costs you nothing. You can play the game, costs you nothing. But yet they made $108 billion last year.
Now I will say, no, it was 106.8 million.
I don't know. It was a crap.
It was a lot of
money
for an app that they didn't even put that much money into.
They put
other
no
than buying
money
the
into this
rights.
game. They put more money into if they put half the time in the Need for Speed.
Well,
Sorry.
I'll say this: I play a freemium game, Marvel Puzzle Quest, completely freemium,
Right, totally free.
You can play it now. They need to add new content to it,
Right.
but you can play it completely for free. Download the app free. You can level up all your people
so you
free.
can play Simpsons Tapped Out for completely for free. So in The Simpsons, the premium currency is donuts.
Okay, we have
it's
Marvel coins.
Right. I mean, it's gems or mushrooms or donuts.
Something.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
So in there, it's donuts, and you can buy 5 donuts, a dozen donuts, 100 donuts,
1,000 donuts, which is $100, I assume.
Or no, 1,000 donuts is $50. 2,400 donuts, I think.
99. There's
99.
always the option for $99.
$100 buy-in.
Who is dropping? And I know there's somebody out there doing it.
Leo Laporte has admitted to doing it 3 times.
Well, here's another thing that I can say is when Snoop Dogg came out with the app, there was the Golden Blunt or whatever and it cost, I think, $1,000 or something like that. People bought it.
Yeah, stupid people.
You just dropped $1,000.
I know. So here's my problem. Here's my only problem, other than the fact that I'm addicted as fuck to the stupid Simpsons game. This is basically, I'm anti-Farmville, and I got sucked into Farmville. But it got Homer Simpson in it.
They have it for everybody. There's Smurfs, Simpsons, everything.
You can play this game without putting $1 into this game.
Yep. How much money have you spent?
I've actually spent $10 on the game,
and that's justifiable.
Because I wanted to buy the Springfield sign, and they were running this sale where Springfield signs use like 150 donuts. Now you get donuts, you get free donuts.
I get free
every time
coins,
you level. You get a couple. Every time they do like a community event, if you play right, I'll get like 50 or 60 donuts.
Absolutely,
during those. But every once in a while they'd run a sale, and they ran a sale, and you bought, I think it was the 150 donuts,
and you got
the sign for free, like the big Mountain Springfield sign.
Yeah, so you're
which is
literally
usually
getting
by
double.
itself like 200 or 300 fucking donuts. I was never going to be able to buy that damn thing. So I was like, oh fuck! I spent the $10. I also did it because I had played the game for over a year at that point.
That's how I felt. I wanted to give money to. That's why I bought shakes.
And
I bought mushrooms.
as much as I haven't yet.
I did,
and I was going to this week, and then it was a mushroom weekend, and I gratised the piss out of some mushrooms.
I
got like 60 mushrooms, dude. Yeah, it was a good day for me.
Well, I'll say this is that I did give Shakes and Fidget $20.
I will give him. I don't know if I might give him that much.
I gave him $20
because I will. We talked about this last week.
I've played the game so long.
Yeah, I'll do it too.
But it's not every game I'll do it.
And you don't have to do that.
No.
And that's the key. That's the freemium model.
Now here's the problem that I have with this. Speaking of EA,
right.
the Dungeon Keeper mobile app.
This is switching from freemium now
to you gotta pay.
Right. It's called pay to win model. Where first of all, in some cases, you may pay or not pay for the app. There's 2 subgenres.
Yeah.
Sometimes the app's free, sometimes it's $1. But regardless of the initial app purchase cost, you can't progress past a certain point unless you microtransaction.
And that's terrible. That model needs to stop. It needs to go away. It needs to die. Because EA had the balls to tell
you're doing it wrong.
You're playing the game wrong. Which isn't the first time that they've done that.
No.
And if I'm able to play your game incorrectly, for one, you've done something wrong with your game.
Yeah, and I don't want this to turn too much. I think we should do a segment sometime about just fucking EA, because seriously, EA. But
that's the trend.
But I'm with you. Yeah, and if you're here's my message: if you're playing a game that's pay to win,
stop.
Just delete it.
Yeah, get it out. I believe in freemium games.
I totally. Here's the reason I believe in freemium games. So, like Shakes and Fidget, it's a small software developer.
Yes.
They took this, which you taught me.
German webcomic.
Right, you taught me this last week. I didn't even know. It was a damn webcomic, which I think is awesome, by the way.
Which you can't get translated in English. I've tried.
I still laugh my ass off at it. I read a little bit of German, so enough that I got some of it. But, and companies like that, I appreciate. And there's one that a friend of mine introduced me into Dragonvale, I think it's called. You raise little dragons from eggs, and you can
I know about
crossbreed them
that.
and stuff. And it's a freemium game, but there's not one dragon you can't do for free. Not one. It takes you a fuck ton longer.
That's the same way with Puzzle Quest.
But there's not one you can't do. And that, to me, is doing it right. It also, to me, will encourage people, like the reason that you gave them $10 of your own money.
Because I played it so long.
You play it long, you start getting attachment to the game, and you're like, hey, I'd like to support the developers of this game.
Now, even though Marvel Puzzle Quest is done by D3, who is a huge mobile game publisher.
Oh, really? I've never heard of them.
I'll show you all about it. They're huge.
Kidding.
Okay. And
it's like, hey, I heard this new company called id. Have you ever heard of id?
Oh, shut up.
But there's this other Blizzard company that's got this game called Diablo.
Have you heard of this company called Google? You got this web startup thing going on. So, but I mean, again, it does take you a long time to get the special characters and then get them leveled up and stuff like that.
That's doing it right.
But you can still do it.
Right.
But
because it gives parents that want to let their kids play games the ability to not have to spend money.
You don't have to, but if you want to give them their allowance, that's an easy, quick, done and done. Oh, here's your $5 of whatever game currency you want this week.
Totally. So freemium works.
You had mentioned it, and this isn't just mobile. It's happening.
It's not just mobile.
Can we talk about Rift?
So, I want to talk about Rift. So, Rift is now a freemium game. First of all, Rift is a great fucking game.
It was a good MMO. I played it from inception, and I enjoyed it.
I really like Rift. Which is why by the way, Rift is the whole reason why I was so disappointed in Defiance.
Yeah, because it was made by the same developer.
So it's Tryon Worlds that,
usually does awesome stuff.
Yeah, they do. They only have a few games. They're all usually pretty good. Rift, it's been about 6 or 7 months now. It's been a while.
Okay.
The game was never super expensive.
No, it was
like $29
No, when it first came out, it was $29.99.
Yeah, and then by the time last year rolled around, you could get it for like 10 or
if you caught it on 15, a Steam sale, it was cheap.
$10. Or even less on a Steam sale.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say around July of last year, somewhere in that time frame, I got this email from Tryon.
Yeah.
Rift, free to play.
Free to play.
And I thought, oh, well, they do this every once in a while. You get like a free weekend. I thought
it was full on free to play.
No, it was full on free to play. It's like, so we're going to go freemium with this game. And that's exactly what they did. And here's why they did it. Rift is now 4 years old.
Yeah, it's pretty old. Yeah.
So in terms of MMOs,
it's archaic.
It's hard to stand the test of time. Even World of Warcraft is.
They're constantly doing updates.
They don't have a choice.
They did all their texture packs updates. Everything.
They have to do that because these games are so old, and Rift doesn't have nearly the following that WoW does.
No,
I don't think anything.
MMO wise does. You always hear WoW killer, but then it never happens.
Yeah, you're not taking WoW down, people. So, but it did have a strong following. Rift did, for the people who did it.
A lot of people who played Guild Wars totally into Rift. Yeah.
Right, because it's a similar MMO type game. And
now, free to play usually is the death blow.
It usually is the death blow to MMO. Let me look at EverQuest.
Oh, God. I don't ever want to look at EverQuest again.
Yeah,
when you give me a death penalty... Death penalty is the dumbest thing ever. I'm pretty sure that's what ruined City of. Yeah. So
I agree. So it went free to play, and it's actually doing quite well. The problem, however, are all those people that paid for Rift. Let's just say that, well, RJ, they weren't.
They were pissed.
They weren't happy.
They were so pissed. They were like, wait a minute, what do you mean you're giving this game away for free and I paid $30 and now there's just all this extra currency?
And now I have to buy money to play other stuff. So
they
gave them a crap ton of credit.
Yeah, they gave them credits in it. And I think that made most everybody happy.
So, and there's
but that was the right thing to do. It
was totally the right thing to do. I mean, Tryon has they've made tons of mistakes in some of their games. I've ragged on them now like for a million years. I rag on every
Defiance.
time. I rag the shit out of Defiance.
But it was super good, and then when you're done. You're just done, and there's no end game.
Done. You are literally just done.
No closure. Wait until next season.
But with that, I think they've done a really good job with how they've handled the problems with Rift. Most importantly, it really did change the game.
It did. It was a game changer.
It was almost a rewrite, even though it's not a rewrite. It's just the way people interface with the game, the way they play the game.
And you can still get that currency from doing stuff in game.
So, not much. And they do two times of currency. They have currency, and then they have like a membership thing you can buy,
which is and you get that stuff monthly or whatever.
Right. So it's kind of neat, and I wish them luck. But the whole point of all this is, there's doing it right, there's doing it sort of right, and then there's fucking pay to play.
Seriously, stop with the microtransactions. Stop it. You know, this whole episode seems to kind of be on a...
Are we just pissed off today?
No, it's on this monopoly tangent about big companies, and you guys gotta knock it off. Fuck a bunch of microtransactions and fuck a bunch of giant corporations ruining everything that I love.
Bastards! So you know what?
Better.
I cannot hear Will Arnett's voice now without thinking Batman.
Because he wasn't really doing much.
But he narrates a lot of commercials, and I'd forgotten about that. And there was like a GMC truck commercial came on the other day. He's like is Will Arnett in his Will Arnett voice talking about stuff, and I'm like, I'm Batman.
And you're like, nailed it. First try.
Yeah, first try. It was like, oh, God.
No, that's the worst part. Every time I would hear him on commercials, because I used to watch Arrested Development, I just hear him be like... It's illusions, Michael. Tricks are what a whore does for money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, or just come on.
I love fucking Will Arnett. Why can't he get a show that doesn't get canceled?
I know. Well, wait. Did the one with him being a parent get canceled? Oh, well. I blame that on Christina Applegate.
It was.
She can't hold any TV sitcom for fucking.
But she's
to save
not a
her
bad
life.
actress
No,
either.
I love her.
She's got the Summer Glau curse, I call it.
She does. Everything she touches just gets done in 3 seasons.
I know.
And I loved the Terminator show. I fucking loved
the Terminator show. I loved 4400. I know you didn't like it, but I loved the Dollhouse.
I didn't like Dollhouse. 4400 was the one where they got superpowers and stuff, right?
Right.
I wanted to watch that and just never did.
Good show.
Really?
It really was. It really was a good show.
Why is that not on Netflix? Damn it.
Yeah, I think I have them on DVD somewhere. So you're gonna help me clean out my garage? We run across them. I'll just loan them to you because
Awesome.
they're in one of those boxes downstairs. So
you know, I still have a sealed DVD set of Firefly.
I totally believe that.
I do.
I have.
It's fucking. I'll never open that
Yeah,
bitch.
no, fuck
It'll
no.
go in a fucking like when I die and they ask me what they should do with it. I'm gonna be like, put it in a time capsule, but don't ever open it.
Yeah, exactly.
The future needs to know.
The future needs to know.